Welcome to this episode of the Limitation Is A Mirage podcast. On this episode, I have the great, amazing Ben, who is outbearding me, but I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there. I couldn't stroke your beard, so I grew one of my own.
I think mine just deceptively appears longer because it blends into my shirt.
That's what I was just thinking. It goes up around your head too, which is really cool. I like that. I like that idea. So this podcast, our aim is to do like a wee recap of 2020. The best year in the history books, according to Sam.
According to maybe 2 or 3 people.
So me and you're quite active and positive in general. So it's been quite interesting to converse with you throughout the year because I don't know about you, but mostly nothing changed for me except I'm not on stage. That's or in front of loads of people. I'm doing a lot of it on this. So how do we recap 2020 apart from just saying it was fucking shit?
Hey, done. Thanks for listening. Bye.
I actually don't think it was shit, to be fair, but yeah.
I suppose circumstances are obviously going to differ, right? Because we can't, well, we shouldn't rather paint everyone with the same brush, but en masse. Statistically speaking, we were all pretty much affected by very similar things.
Yeah.
The pandemic. I think there was jokes going around by March that we've had Australia was on fire. Trump may have started World War III, and that there was a pandemic coming out of China. And like, this is March. What's happening?
Yeah.
It just got gradually more and more and more and more.
If you were watching it as a movie, you would have thought, this movie shit. It's just getting more fucking ridiculous. Now there's like
exactly.
I imagine 90% of the world didn't even hear the word pandemic before. Now it's like on predictive text.
Pandemic. Like, I think it'll be interesting, like in a couple of decades, when you find like that mask, your face covering or whatever you used to protect your face when you're out and about, and that falls out of a drawer somewhere, and you go, oh, God, that was a weird time of life to live in. But it's to me, right? Like you were saying as well, nothing's really changed, right? Other than I've not been performing for live human beings. It's this is how it's gone. Jobs have gone online, or people have been furloughed, which 100% challenging. Nobody's saying that it's not been an incredibly challenging year to go through, but has it been as demoralizing as it seems on the surface? My personal belief is I don't think so. You've just got to choose your own. You've got to choose your own challenge where that's concerned. People lived through the Blitz. People lived through World War II. Like people lived
where
through.
I come from, like they lived through the Troubles up until fucking 20 years ago or whatever. Or well, depends who looks at it or who watches this. Go, we're fucking still in it. We're telling. Like again, I think for me that's a good example because the country I live in. But there's some people that are in the thick of it still, and you're like, aye, but it's not as bad as it fucking. Like I haven't had to look under my car, and being like, that thing doesn't belong there. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like people aren't. It's not as mainstream as it was back
Absolutely.
then. But I think it's something that we talked about throughout the year was that. People are saying this is the worst year in existence ever in the history of the world, and you're like,
is it though?
That Hitler dude was a bit fucked up. Like how many years did he run for?
Exactly. By the way, I'm gonna go and live in my attic with the rest of my family for several years. What? We were asked to stay at home, have food delivered, and not go outside.
Yeah. And even at that, you could go outside if you wanted for a wee bit.
You could,
not all the time, like, but
exactly. You could go in your garden. You couldn't have people around. Obviously, for hermital hatred of other people like myself, that was great.
Yeah, I think that's what affected people a lot was the not the uncertainty as much as the lack of constructive advice.
Yeah,
like do this and then keep doing that. would be better advice than do this and a wee bit of that, but don't ever do that, but a wee bit of this, and come over here and do that, but don't do it over there. And you're like, what the fuck? So I think that's what threw a lot of people, but probably because the way I was going to say the way we're built, but we built ourselves like this. It's not like I didn't come out with this sort of mindset or whatever. So personally, for you, do you think that you've like developed within it? Have you come out stronger? Well, we're not fucking out. We're back in again. But like, whatever, wherever the fuck we are now.
This wait, a couple of weeks later, we'll be in tier 12. Boris will appear on a glass screen in our living rooms, informing us that Jeff Bezos is now the president of the world.
Yeah. I think it's like we're at that stage, the couple years before Mad Max, and like a zombie apocalypse and all the boring shit that they didn't make into a movie. Like if it was a movie, you'd be like, "Fuck, this is so boring." And at the very end, they're like, you see Mad Max putting on his tights for the first time ever, and you're like, "Fuck, that's what all this boring shit was." That's what I've been thinking the whole way through. I'm like, we're just at that boring.
Yeah, we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp.
We're at the before zombie stage, and I'm fucking ready.
Having said that as well, legitimately, Maddie was saying there was guys prowling our streets with crowbars and cricket bats earlier.
You should take that hammer out and like sort it out. yeah. I'm carrying it on my finger.
I couldn't figure out which way around it was going.
Why is this happening?
My I hope so. None of them were wearing tights though, so I doubt
cold.
It is cold, and they are quite, sort of masculine, so they don't want to appear smaller.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know.
But my neighborhood is quite rife with sort of gang level brup kind of behavior, and it's something going on with them. They're looking for somebody to have words with and do a jolly good finger shaking at them.
You're gonna slap them with a glove.
Yeah.
I like that we talked a wee bit. We pointed at the hammer and talked a wee bit about superheroes, and then you called where you live in neighborhood now. My neighborhood. I've never heard you name it as a neighborhood. Spider-Man. No. It's my neighborhood. I would have called it like my park. Do you live in a neighborhood? Is that how posh you are?
I think that's just how I speak. That's my vernacular. But I think technically what you'd call it is a hive of despair.
Nice.
It's the place where hopes and dreams go to die.
Except for your beacon in the middle.
That's it. I'm trying to be the mecca for people with aspirations. But yeah, like
what have you done? So let's look. What's the hardest thing that you've achieved in this? Do you think?
Wow.
Loads of random stuff. So what's
I have. Initially, I wanted to teach myself how to play chess, and this is before the Queen's Gambit came out. Bear in mind, because this is the very first lockdown. Right at the start, I was like, I've got some more time. I'm going to teach myself how to do it. Got Gary Kasparov's masterclass from the masterclass website place. I think it's literally just called Masterclass.
Yeah.
Ingeniously entitled. And I started watching it. I was like, wow, that's far too advanced for me. I got some books, and I taught myself how to play the game of chess. Eventually taught myself how to play it like from memory, blindfolded chess.
Nice.
That way around. That was pretty bloody challenging, because that's keeping track of a shit ton of information. And I'm by no means a good chess player at this standpoint. It's more of I can actually just play a game.
It just reminds me, like, for maybe the last 4 years, 2 or 3 times a year, we talk about playing a mental game of chess, and only now has one of us bothered learning how to play.
Well, that was one of those things. That was one of the things. I was like, oh, well, yeah, let's do this now. I've got a couple of chessboards in the house. It's about time, and it felt like a very Sherlocky thing to do. I've been learning 4 languages as well.
What are they?
It's French, Mandarin, German, and Arabic. Each for their own practical purpose. I've been taking on regular cases as well for my reading people antics. As soon as
I was wondering how you were going to word that.
yeah,
For-
as soon as I
Talk about this.
yeah, I'm so bad at I'm starting to understand how Tom Holland feels, right? During the normal parts of conversation, because you're like, yeah, I've been no, I can't actually talk about I can't talk about that either. And I'll start something and it's only a few words in that I'll realize I either have to just shut up or find a
Sentence.
yeah, just find a different way around it.
Like,
But
I say
yeah.
that. What have you been doing?
I've been doing things and stuff with
So that's I think one of the reasons why we connected so much is because you're whenever you deep dive, like you deep dive like more hectic than I always thought I would. But when I started this, I was like, fuck, I love an old deep dive. And then I met you and was like, no, I'm still back at a Rubik's Cube taking the stickers off. That's what my level of deep dive is. I'm like, this doesn't, I can't do a Rubik's Cube, but that was my analogy. For any fucker that's like, he told me he could do one. So I like the idea of, can you say a sentence in 4 different languages?
Yeah, I put out a video trying to say something poignant in each of the 4 languages. My Arabic is only sort of rudimentary at the moment, so it's the things like. But I should qualify this by saying my accents are terrible. They still sound like an English person doing the languages themselves. So it would be things like Sabah al khair ya sayyida, kayf al hal, and so that would be Arabic for good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very well.
Yeah, very. What else would I say? 我会说一点普通话，可是我说的不好。Which would be Mandarin for I speak a little bit of Mandarin, but I don't pronounce it very well.
That's nearly like that Family Guy where he was like, I can speak this Mandarin, I can speak this much Mandarin, and this sentence explaining it. That's it.
Done. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, which is not a lot of German. With French, I've been studying. J'ai étudié français pour 8 mois.
10 months.
Close 8.
10 and these.
These, yeah.
Yeah, Lundi Marty. Remember, I'm that guy that remembers random Lundi Marty, Mercury, Jeudi, Dimanche. I think I left out a couple of days, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
One day, though.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Well, that's the way the song went. In my head, not in real life. One time in French, though, my French teacher got very excited because I knew exactly what was going on in the wee TV show that we watched. And he was like, so you've been lying this whole time? And I was like, I understand French. I've been doing French since P6, so fuck it. But what I didn't know was it was the one Simpsons tape my mum bought. And it was just the episode that I had watched on repeat a million times. So then when he put it on in French, I was like, I'm fucking in here. Je m'appelle de my name didn't even switch into French, so they made me pick one. If you just pick from a list because your name doesn't actually translate. Guillaume, I thought I'd pick the awkwardest one.
Guillaume, nice.
Call me back. I don't know.
No idea. Is there an X in there? Maybe a Batman symbol?
There's definitely a Gui.
Yeah.
A W. There's definitely a W. I can't even speak my own fucking language. I just realized I can barely speak English, but what was the other language? Can you say a sentence with all of them in one sentence? Like start in French and work your way through to the end?
I'm just trying to think of what I could say to join them all together.
It's just like playing chess in your mind.
That's what I'm doing. I'm moving the تحب أن أكل شيئا parce que
I like the hand that goes when you go French.
parce que
Baguette
parce que
and biscuit bolognese. I might be racist.
I'm sweating now. Parce que that's one. This one of these things like where as a mentalist she'll go think of anything, and the other human goes.
You just see them backing off.
I don't know what happens. I could, yeah. Parce que je voudrais un café. Ich habe Durst.
Your brain.
My brain is frying at the moment. So far that's gone Arabic for I'm looking forward to eating. I've asked for a coffee in French because I'm thirsty rather in German, and I'm just trying to think of how I'd finish that off in Mandarin.
Xie
Shishini.
ni. Ni hao mei.
Hao.
I watched kung fu movies so much that whenever I was tired, my brain would like believe I understood what they were saying. I'm like, oh, I get that, and then eventually I'd come out of it and go, no,
not a clue. So that was my thing. Like I'd watched like obviously Jackie Chan movies, but most of them that I've got at the minute they're all subtitled in Cantonese. Yeah. So so I'm expecting these words to pop up, and like the current part of the Mandarin study at the minute we're looking at talking about your family and staying in places, obviously touristy stuff, because I think that's what they must cover first.
Yeah, essential things that you need, I imagine, for the language.
Absolutely, given that all the traveling we're allowed to do.
Exactly, yeah.
But like I did a magic trick in French. That was fun. So I'm looking to do one of those in each of the languages that I'm studying at the moment. Like the whole idea behind it was like, if with the memory techniques I can. Merci mon coeur.
Garçon, coffee.
I didn't do the clicking. She'd break my legs if I did the clicking, I tell you.
Yeah. Mine isn't as cool, but
mine's fairly on the nose as a name. Mine just calls me the Caffeine King.
I haven't had caffeine in 8 years.
My DNA is caffeine at this stage, mate, to be fair. But yeah, with the memory techniques, I can learn 100 words in like a couple of minutes. So yeah. I can get 400 words from like in 100 from each of the languages in a day, which means by the end of the week, if I'll have revisited them, I'll have a pretty decent grasp on a number of words. So I can keep that up as a manageable workload. You know, it's just a case of putting them to use. And I've got a lot of time on my hands now, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything other than stay indoors and become more awesome.
Good plan. I brought up the language because I know you're doing 4. Just because a lot of people, if you ask, like I talked about it recently with someone about a Rubik's Cube. I'm bringing it up again because it's in my head.
You're really proud, right?
But people were saying, like, they're like, oh, it's really hard to learn one. And then I challenged that person to do it. And they did it in 4 days with no prior training or knowledge or understanding of memory or anything, just from studying and looking and practicing, and now can do a Rubik's Cube. So same with language. Like people just think, oh, you can never learn that. It's impossible to learn. And you're learning 4, but you're using the techniques that you've built throughout. Yeah. Like everything, what you've done, and the same as what I did, is we went into like a lockdown, took what we knew already and thought, well, how can I improve upon like what we're doing now? But again, like I don't know. I've always talked about learning Mandarin or Cantonese just because I love kung fu movies. But I never did it. I took time to do other things. But just the fact that it is, like we talk about it all the time, and I say it all the time, it's the fucking name of my book, that limitation is a mirage. Like whatever 100%. You believe is the limit, then that is what the limit's going to be.
Absolutely.
So learning 4 languages at once, a question that came up whenever you were doing that I just thought of is, where in your brain do you think they are?
Going on that recent sort of expedition that I've just gone on through them, they're currently on the floor somewhere.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, where does he have to, like, because you're using like a journey. I assume you're using a journey to memorize the words, and then
yeah, it's sort of like a journey mixed with peg images that go together to form specific sort of mnemonic devices there. But it's a case of
what language was that that you just spoke in there?
That was Latin.
Mnemonic sounds dangerous. We can teach you some Irish to add to it. Geoditch.
Geoditch.
Yeah, and then the response to that is Geomarditch.
Geomarditch.
Someone's going to roast me for this because I'm probably wrong because I haven't done Irish. I was put out Irish in second year. I wasn't even allowed to walk past the fucking door. But I'm pretty sure that Geoditch and Geomarditch is like, how are you? And I'm well, or I'm well, how are you? I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't write this down, but there's a fifth language out the park. That's all
Nailed
you need.
it. Nailed it.
Brusker, that's bin.
Brusker or Rusker?
Brusker, I think.
Brusker.
And Malascoila.
Malascoila. Wow. That sounds like a medieval weapon.
Yeah. Got my Malascoila over there. With my shillelagh. That was a thing, and then I just did it, but
that was weird to hear an Irish person doing a terrible Irish accent.
Yeah, oh, you have to if you're going to mock Irish accent. Here in Ogan, as well. Which leads me to a thing I thought about earlier. Whenever you said it about languages, and every time I've seen you do languages on video, you've passed yourself by saying my accent's shocking before you start. Do you feel slightly racist when you put on the accent?
Like yeah, massively.
Yeah, I always because I do it whenever I'm fake doing it. I feel am I borderline racist, but I'm sure.
See, that's what initially. Let me backtrack a little bit further. When I asked Miguel if I could do the magic trick on him in French, I was like, oh God, this is like I was really nervous. And you know from spending time with me, I don't really do that.
Yeah.
But I was really nervous. And that was the one thing I was aware of, that I have a genuine invested interest in learning this language, because it's going to benefit me. I'm going to use it for work as well as all the others. But I didn't want them to come across as like a Simpsons character, you know. I was taking the piss, and that's really been my concern. That stopped me from using them. Like I noticed on that video I put out where I was speaking the 4 languages. When it come to my my Arabic sentence, my voice dropped down deeper. Like, and a couple of the lessons that I'd taken through italki, they were getting me to move in different ways to try and open up the parts of my mouth needed to make the sounds. So that was just a reflexive thing to do to bring it down here. And I'm like, this just sounds like I'm trying to take the piss, which I'm really not. I just want to learn how to speak the languages, and it's given me like almost like a neurosis about it, you know. Like
I think the fact though that you are like, when I'm doing it now, then I am being a dick, but it's fine because I'm being a dick to someone who is actually putting the effort in and work to learn it. So I think it balances it out a little bit. But I think the fact that you're actually trying to learn it, and if I was French and you spoke in a French accent and I was annoyed and I was like, what the fuck are you speaking like that for? You could respond in French going, sorry, I'm just learning the language. And I'm like, right, fuck, he's actually understands me. Want to go for a coffee? So languages. What else have you been at?
Yeah, that's the things that I'm not really allowed to. I've got to tell when I do that.
Yeah. So.
Oh God, there goes my pulse rate. Jesus.
So one of the things for people to get an understanding of what's happening there is you do work that's not allowed to be talked about.
Correct.
And whenever I tell people that like when people ask me about how do I know body language and memory and reading people and stuff, and I'm like, well, I trained under I always called you Ben, the Sherlock guy. Like, oh, does he love Sherlock? I'm like, no, Ben is the Sherlock. Like, he's the guy that he's the. I don't know how to describe this any more than if you've seen Sherlock Holmes, then that's who that guy is, except with a beard. More glorious than mine, but with a beard. Um, and I think that that's probably why I asked to train with you at the start as well, because I like to train with people who have mastered their craft, or at least trying to master their craft, and who use it in real life. Like, I've from a martial art background, I've met people who talk all this talk, and then you watch them for about 5 minutes and go, "You would
What?
die. You would die in real life if anything happened.
You would
You
actually
would
die.
be dead." No, I'd fucking karate chop them. You're like, that's not even a karate chop. So where the fuck was I going with that? Oh, because that's just describing why we're joking about that, because there is stuff that you're not allowed to talk about. But the fact that you said it anyway with the language, you're going to use it in real world terms. So that leads me to a good question, I suppose. This isn't really supposed to be a question thing, but it's just fucking leading me to stuff. So feel free to tell me to stop asking questions. I'll ask them anyway. As a observator, is that the right term?
that is not a word, but it definitely should be one.
I just imagined you dressed like a Darth Vader type character, observing, because 2020 was so fucked up. I was like, he could be the observator, and you're like, but you look and mix the noise of this the.
That's just.
I was going to
call. Go on. What are you going to say?
I couldn't remember the lightsaber's name because I was too busy calling it. So what have you? If you were to if you were the
observator.
Yeah. What have you observed? People, like, how are people dealing with this in a way that you think is good, and how are people dealing in a way that you think is bad?
What it's really shown people is either that they are capable of being left to their own devices, or they aren't. And it's really shown the limitations to themselves that they have, really. You get a lot of the jokes going around that, oh, I've completed Netflix. What now? What now? You have a device probably in your pocket that connects you to the planet.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What now? So it's really highlighted to the people that I've spoken to, at least, where they've set their own personal boundaries at, so that when it's probably different around the world. So speaking with England in mind, when
in your neighborhood,
within my hood, that sounded so not street. That was a stereotypical accent of a painfully awkward white guy trying to be street. That was.
You're like Eminem.
I am, but like I'm so yeah. I'm not. I can't be street. I'm not street, so I can't do it. But like as the areas came out of lockdown into the variously sort of eased levels of restrictions through the tiers. Granted, we've all gone back down now, but as
how well did you do? Well, they put us back in.
We
like
suck.
We got out of jail, and we're all like, "Fucking, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." Get back in jail. You already fucked up, right? Sorry.
Oh dear, I apologize. But yeah, it's sort of shown people that, right, so now that I'm back into what I knew as the regular 9 to 5 that I didn't question before, I've now got all of this new information that allows me to work on this with new details. It's like the whole data. I cannot make bricks without clay. You've got new data on your. I can relate everything back to Sherlock. You've got new data on your life at this moment. So what you're going to do with that moving forward? Other people have gone back to their regular 9 to 5s and not made any change, and they experience the same sluggishness, they experience the same mundanity, they experience the same restrictions. But if you examine that new information that you've got from the amount of time that you've spent indoors, you've got so many more avenues to explore later, even if it's just new conversations that you can have with other people, because you've spent some time exploring what it is to be yourself. You know, very
Yeah.
few people are given that opportunity to sit back and take stock, because it's sort of been glamorized working 85 hours a day, when it's not, it's not healthy at all.
No.
So being given that opportunity to step back and really think like, well, I don't have to go anywhere and do anything. I'm being told that I have to have my shop delivered. You know, I'm being told that I have to have this brought to me and this brought to me, so I can just
Kind of like we're
focus.
kings and queens. It's like
Exactly
fucking
right.
bring it. I noticed a
Exactly.
lot of people, like I used to work with a lot of clients, and I would say to them before all this, like, your job could be done remotely, like designers and stuff. I'd be like, why don't you try to convince them 3 days in, 2 days work from home? And they were like, I would fucking love that, but it's impossible. And they go to their boss, and their boss is like, nah, can't be done. And then all of a sudden, within a week, they're like, right, everybody go home and do all that from home. And I'm like, fucking, how did it just become very possible all of a sudden? And a lot of people reminded me of, the meme where there's like a donkey with a rope around his neck attached to a plastic stool, and he doesn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. And you're like, this is how you keep the donkey. And you're like, because he believes he's been trained not to walk away, so he believes that. So people think that they need all that 9 to 5, and they need that people, and they need to be told what to do. And now they're starting to realize,
exactly.
fuck here, I don't.
No.
There are a lot of them get to the point where they don't know what they can. I think it's because people don't believe that they're capable of more than what they have been told they're capable of. So whenever it gets to this point,
it's that language reflex, or the Rubik's cube reflex action. You learn a language. Oh, I can't do that. It's impossible. Learn a Rubik's cube. Oh, I can't do that. It's impossible. How do you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever sat down and actually tried? No.
Yeah.
Right.
So I often think, like, whenever you talk about the gym and stuff, and you're like, could you lift your own body weight? Oh, definitely not. What if I fucked you off a cliff and give you a rope? Are you just going to stop climbing because I'm well heavy? Look, or are you gonna?
Or are you going to climb that rope?
Climb the rope and come back up and be like, I can't believe you fucking did that. But like that's what would happen. They'd come up going, you're a wanker. I can't believe you did that. And I'd be like, you just did what you thought was impossible.
Yeah.
No, but I don't care about that. You're rude. So I think a lot of people are hopefully more and more will do it, or opening up to what they're like. I know there's going to be ones, like, one of the things that all of my clients, I've said to them, like, just stop watching the news. Like you never see the news, and it's like 14 puppies were born today, and look how lovely they are.
Yeah.
Like it's like 7,000 puppies killed by a runaway train. I don't even like dogs in general, so I don't know why. Probably because you like dogs. That was my. This is how I would hold a puppy. That's how much I know about dogs.
Me, I think dogs are better people than people.
People. I imagine most of them are. They're faster. They don't really care about like what people think of them. I discovered when I see dogs.
There was I think it was Maddie that posted it the other day. It was entitled Perspective, and it's framed around doggos, but it's it's philosophical in what you take from it, right? It was a little cartoon piece of these two guys sitting on a sofa or a chair or something. One saying to the other one, God, 2020 was the most horrible moment of my life. You know, there was this, God, I had to do this. Boom. And then there was the same thing from a dog's perspective. 2020 was the most amazing year of my life ever because my owner spent every day with me.
Yeah. Again, I don't, the only things I know about dog are people like yourself and Craig talking about them to me. And I don't really know, but I understand that like a dog doesn't want anything other than where it is now. And I think that's really good in a perspective for humans, is we don't look at where we are now and what we're doing now and what we're getting now. Like even people listening to this are doing something or thinking about something else, or I'll pause it here and I'll go and do that. And I'll come back and fuck's sake, I have to do this later and whatever it is. Whereas like from probably just memes like that and people like you talking to me about dogs, I'm like, well, they just seem fucking quite happy to be there.
Exactly.
There's a dog, and he's like, look at how delighted. Why is it so fucking delighted? Like, we're all stuck in the same fucking house. It's delighted. It's like,
oh my god, this is incredible. I think in a nutshell, it shows that really your own situation. Let's say 90% of the time, because you can't account for every possible earth-shatteringly shite scenario that can occur. So 90% of the time, your limitations, your restrictions, your capabilities are literally what you make of them, right?
yeah,
You may be stuck indoors, great, but you're getting pumped entertainment from around the world. There is a multitude of everything online through what, maybe 17 devices that you've got in your house.
yeah. Imagine if it was dial-up time. Like, imagine if this was when we were in school, and you were stuck at home with dial-up, and you'd be like,
fucking hell.
You download a movie that takes 3 days to download, and then you fucking turn it on. And it's not even the movie you wanted, or it's in fucking. Well, you'd be all right. I was going to say it's in a different language, but you'd be fine. But like that, like whenever you were downloading off LimeWire years ago,
yeah,
or you wanted to download a photo and it would go,
yeep,
and you're like, is it going to be it? Is it the thing? Like,
and then someone would pick up the phone and you'd have to start again.
I know things. Even that, like, whenever I used to work in the youth clubs and I would chat to the young kids and all, but like, we used to have to tell everybody in the house, I'm going online.
Yeah.
Don't be lifting the phone, or don't do anything till I say it's okay, and then just sit looking at a screen for 4 hours. Come on. And then it just be something completely random. If you're lucky, it's something at all, and you just watch it anyway. Like, fuck it. Meteor Man. That's why I ended up watching Meteor Man. Remember it?
Meteor Man.
It's like,
I've never heard of it, to be honest.
Have you not? It's a comedy superhero. I think it actually is on Netflix now. It's on some. Look it up. It's this.
I tell you what I'm going to watch as well that I only came across. I'm not going to watch Jiu-Jitsu.
I would prefer what people watching Jiu-Jitsu over Wonder Woman.
Oh God.
That was terrible.
Don't. That was awful. But there's a film. It's in Spanish, so it's not one of the languages I'm learning. But it's based on people with like sort of unconventional level disabilities, and I say unconventional because one of them has her arsehole and her mouth swapped, so her arsehole is here, and her mouth is down
quite
here.
Quite metaphorical for most people,
right? And it's to do with the way we perceive disabilities and difficulties, and there's this sort of social mores that comes out of it. But like that film had me at bumhole. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Either way.
Is it based on real life?
God, I hope so.
Because if it's not, then they just stole the idea from Ace Ventura. Think about it. It took your brain a moment there.
That did take me a beat. Huh? Oh, do you have a mint? Perhaps some banaka.
Great show.
It's a brilliant show.
But I don't watch Wonder Woman. Unless you really want to, like. But
yeah.
And if you think it's good, go and text me and tell me why you thought it was good, because maybe I missed something. But I'm pretty sure. Just watch Jiu-Jitsu instead.
You'll get the better experience. At least you'll giggle at how the fuck did this get made?
My question for Jiu-Jitsu is, why did they actually call it an actual art? Like, Jiu-Jitsu exists in real life, and people will look at everything that happens in that movie and go, why? Who's this? I know it's even fucking matter. Nicolas Cage, who's in Jiu-Jitsu, is a Jiu-Jitsu black belt under the Gracies. So he's got a fucking legitimate instructor who's taught him to black belt. And he did like 90% of his own stuff. And you'd be like, why did you not just call it like Space Kung Fu or something fucking... If that was called Space Kung Fu, it would have been a much better film, because I wouldn't have expected actual... Like, there's people in it too. You watch it and there's like Tony Jazz running about. And you're like, Tony Jazz in it, it'll be good. All right, they fucked him up somehow. Never mind. That guy from Warrior, who's like their classical music kung fu fighter.
Oh yeah.
he's a legitimate martial artist. You're like, well, he'll do something.
No.
And then Nicolas Cage comes in, and you're like, well, at least Nicolas Cage is here. And then he does the face.
The eyebrow face.
Yeah. So that was their movies of 2020. That's how I look back to 20. I'm trying to think what I watched that was actually. I watched Tenant. That was good.
And yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I watched Peppermint.
Peppermint. I'm not familiar.
It's on Netflix. It's basically, to not ruin it in any way, but completely, it's the female. It's the female Punisher. When you watch it, you'll be like, "This is the Punisher, but she's female." She even wears she doesn't have a skull on it, but she wears like a fucking vest.
Like a vest.
You're like, this is, and everything that happens there. If you know the Punisher story, you're like, well, this is the Punisher. So it's a female Punisher. It was actually all right.
A family was killed by John Travolta. That's what you're saying.
Essentially, yeah, like Face Off.
Got you.
Reverse Face Off. Back to Nicolas Cage. Anyway, Nicolas Cage. So, but yeah, I just think they should have named that movie like Space Jumanji. Have you ever watched Space Jumanji? It's a film called Zathura.
Yeah,
it's just
Space Jumanji. That's exactly what it is.
Space Jumanji, and everyone would have been like, "I'm fucking watching that."
I will watch that. I will watch that.
So that's our 2020 movie thing.
I like that you finished with a kung fu pose.
Well, now we'll get fucking closed off because I did the music, the Peril and Dean. Have you got Peril and Dean where you come from? Peril and Dean. It's at the start of the cinema.
No, we get Mark Strong coming over the tannoy going, "It's dark. It sounds good, doesn't it? Make sure that you turn your phone off during the cinema thing." But better.
That'll be brilliant. Just watch the movie and shut the fuck up, and everything will be fine.
Everything will be okay. We won't have to hurt you.
That would be good. Be better than da, 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 da. Anywho, so what else? What else happened in 2020?
What have you done?
What have I done? Well, I grew a beard. Thanks for bringing it up.
It's better. Mine's just Velcro. Mine will come right off, mate.
Well, I'm thinking that I'm going to trick my head. It'll be like, here, we can grow hair. Basically what happened with my beard is that normally I shave for gigs. I'm all like fucking pristine and shaved and suited and all. I'm like, and then they just got further and further away. And then eventually I was like, even the online ones got separated with Christmas. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah. Grow a beard now.
I'll go fully fledged. Awesome.
Fully beard. Which does confuse me because I can't grow any head hair. So why is my body like? Why is it like we can grow to here and then you're done then?
Yeah.
Well, here I suppose because I do have eyebrows.
So here's the better question then: Would I be your stuntman or would you be mine?
I think I would be yours, mostly just because of size. Because they'd be like, Liam, we need you to get up there and through that thing, and you'd be like, I can't fit through that thing.
I can't do it.
Never mind. No, I'll do it. But if I had to speak a different language, then you could appear in bonjour and so on and so forth. Basically what I did was, thankfully I had already last year in October, I had already made the decision to take everything offline and reboot everything. So I was rebooting and created a few programs for my clients. And then I just, for the first 3 months, because everyone at the start was like, it'll only be a couple of weeks. I was like, right, fuck it. I'll zone in for the first couple of weeks and I'll get these programs really filled out and looking the way I want them. And because I was in that frame of mind and I had said to myself, once lockdown's over, then however the programs are, that'll do. And then the rest can be in person. But because it didn't fucking end, I just kept plugging. I noticed I was doing a lot when like my damaged chest from years ago came back and I was standing like a fucking
Yeah.
humpback gorilla. And Mark was like, why you put your shoulders back? And I was like, they are back. And instead of them go, no, they didn't go. My hips went forward. Like, there you go. Like, that's not it. Do you know?
No.
And I was like, fuck, I haven't even noticed. So it took me ages to refix that. But basically, I did that. And then I learned some piano because I've always wanted to learn piano.
Nice.
Just learned more about all of that, how all this technical shit works, lights and microphones and everything. What I really enjoyed was I wanted to do podcast interviews as well, sort of like this, but this is more of a chat. Everybody was at home. So
No
when you
excuse.
contacted people and you're like, do you want to do a podcast? In the past, when I did bits of it, it was a scene. Oh, fuck, right. I'm here, I'm there, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what are you at tomorrow? Like this one, I'm like, Ben, I have an idea. Do you want to do it? Yeah. We don't need to think about a time because everybody's stuck at home. Yeah. So that's been good. I've got to like interact and chat with people that were hard to get a hold of at the start. And then the rest of it's just developing how do I do what I do when I'm not in person. Because if you like you've seen me teach and do talks, I would have been hands-on when I taught. I would have got people to kick shields and punch pads and try to punch me, and not for martial arts training, but like to
Just
break down, and to break down the whole, interrupt the pattern, break things down. Like one of the first things I do on stage is get someone on stage to try to punch me, and usually I'll just stand. Not now because I've told the story so many different times on social media that people will know I'm not going to move and they'll fucking hit me. But because people are so held back by their own like fears, I would stand and go, just throw a punch. And I would say to them, look, I'm a martial artist, 20 years, I'll fucking move. And then they'll throw a wee punch and it'll stop. They'll stop before they hit me. And they're like, I thought you said you'd move. And I was like, if I need to. I didn't need them. And then they think I must be super fast. I must be incredibly fast. But it's really because I'm using some of the skills that I've got from martial arts and some of the things you taught me. Like I'm reading the people as they come on the stage and I know like this person's definitely going to stop. There's only ever been one person that when I said I want you to throw a punch, did a wee shoulder shrug. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to need to actually defend myself here. And they throw a punch and I block it. I'm like, thank you. You can sit down. Next. Someone else. So just doing that and then doing the memory stuff. I did the deck thing with you, learning how to memorize a deck, which was fun. But again, I use it for real life.
Yeah.
Like when I first learned it, I sat and I studied the deck and I did it. And then I thought, like I do with everything, why am I doing this? I want to be able to memorize a deck. Yeah, but why? Yeah. So then my memory's better for other things. Well, why don't you fucking practice with other things instead of memorizing a deck?
Of cards.
Yeah. Like, so I used it for, because I would have always done it with speeches and stuff. So even all the Zoom, thankfully all my clients and the groups that I was working with, like 90% of them just came online. Some people didn't. They were like, no, it's just going to be a week or two. And I'm like, I'll be here whenever you're ready. And some of them have never come back because they still are waiting.
Yeah.
Like even like I have friends that teach dance and stuff, and they have clients and students that, no, I'll just wait. It's better in person. I hate that it's better in person statement. It's like whenever people say that, how the fuck did, I'm just going to use this analogy because it makes the most sense in my head. People will say they don't use sex toys because, I just prefer the real thing. And you're like, yeah, but if you can't get the real thing, sex toys are pretty good fucking. So I've heard. Sex and Silly told me. But it's the same thing for, like, and sex toys of 2019.
2019? You've skipped. I like that you turned to the wall of weaponry after.
I always thought whenever I was growing up that if they ever made like a kung fu porn, which probably exists, they should have like dildo nunchucks. Like that's
they exist. There
dildo nunchucks exist.
Yeah, they called them nuncocks.
Yeah. So anybody wants to buy me a late Christmas present, just out in the garden.
Can you imagine?
What are you doing there? Cocks are numb. How do we get on to that, Ben? So people don't want to do online because they'll just wait. Yeah. It's better in person. You're like, yeah, it is better in person, but like doing this, even if you don't agree with it, is better than nothing. Yeah. But I've noticed, like, I worked with Neill helping with his NLP teaching. And because technology is so good now, we were able to create breakout rooms and send people off. And like whenever you learn hypnosis, say, whenever I learned it anyway, you're in a room with a load of people and then they're like, right, you just work together. But you can hear everybody and see everybody. And you're like, fuck, I didn't say go deeper 4 times. I only said 3 and he's passed out. Should I go deeper? Like, you're like,
he's dead now. He's dead.
Back to the toys. But like with technology now, you can break people up on it, and then it's so easy. Like whenever I learned it, we were told to keep in touch, but how many people have you studied courses with where you're like, keep in touch? Yeah, we're best friends forever. Woo-hoo. And then you're like,
never going to speak to you again.
Yeah, maybe be Facebook friends and the odd time like something that they write.
To be fair, right, the most people I speak to from courses that I've gone on were from the vagabond days.
Best days ever.
I mean, that's not like a sucking up to your facts. It's a fact.
These are I brought the best people together. You see,
100%. You are the Tony Stark of our vagabond group.
This can be my button.
That's it.
Not working.
Not coming on.
But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger of you. Not coming on.
Not coming on. Get to the chopper.
I know them days were great. I think it's because it did just attract. Because what I was teaching the first course was fucking mental. It wasn't going to attract. Your average person wasn't going to look at that and go,
no.
That Irish guy's coming over and he's going to teach us to do this, this, and this. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Who looks at something like, this guy's going to come over and kick me in the balls? Yeah. Sweet. What time?
Yeah. Can I come now? No, after.
Hey. Reason for the Nuncocks number 4.
It's all about callbacks. But and that's what I always thought about the Vagabond Day. It's why, like, if you think about it, we've talked about this loads. A lot of the people were around, even without the Vagabond stuff, they've had some sort of martial arts.
Yeah.
When you meet them, they're like, what? Like everyone, I always ask now, people that I get on with, I always will just say to them, even if there's no indication or anything of it, I'll say, what martial art did you study? And they'll tell me a martial art, and you go, how the fuck did you know I study martial arts? Because it just seems to be my circle. The people that are the most, like, open, I suppose it's back to what we were saying at the start, is the people that are more open to develop and grow and challenge themselves, and you learn that in a martial art. But I've been working on things like that, how to do the vagabond stuff online as well. So how to, like, obviously you can't kick people in the bag online. How to do the push online, how to do it as
the brick.
Well, you can't teach the techniques if they have the stuff there, but because we're not allowed to touch people anymore.
Yeah. Reason for Nuncocks number 5.
Right. I don't know how we get on that, but how would you we'll recap the recap. Fuck me. How would you suggest that moving into another year, because there's bound to be people out there who just thought magically 2021 happens, this is all over, I'm way out.
Done. It's over.
Oh, does it not just work because the year's over, that the shit years everything stays there?
I think 2021 should only be considered as an 8-month-long year, because at least the first 4 are going to be exactly the same. Yeah. Exactly. So my opinion on transition is, like, I obviously can't speak about what people should do with the great levels of suffering that they've experienced, because you can't get away from the fact that has gone on. right? So
Yeah.
they would take care of themselves in a way that best serves them. But for a large proportion of the rest of us who have just been asked to make sure we keep on top of our cleanliness, stay at home as much as possible, work online, ace. You're only ever as restricted as you want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that should be a thing that you've got moving forward. Okay, so if you go back to the same 9 to 5 and you're still just as bored and pissed off, why are you just as bored and pissed off? You've got the reflection now to make changes. You've got to take that action yourself. And what at least my experience of 2020 has been is that it's encouraged that reflection in as many people as possible. If you have had almost a mirror held up to yourself in that you've completed Netflix and Amazon Prime and you're bored, you should really be asking yourself more questions. If the fact where you've brought your 9 to 5 home with you and you're looking around at your home thinking, holy fuck, I hate the fact that I have to do this job from home. That's got to give you new information moving forward. What can you do to make the changes from there? And it's something that James Brown, not the infamous singer, the infamous pickpocket, and I've said it before. Yeah, the professional opportunist. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it because it's stuck with me in terms of the best way to positively approach anything moving forward. And he was he will obviously talk about the context as part of his course because I'm not going to go into that, but it was basically if somebody, James was saying it about himself, if somebody asked me if I can fly a helicopter, I would say yes, I just haven't been taught how to do it yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
It's the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I fly that? Hold on. Yeah, go. I think that's how I approach everything that I do. That, do you think you could do that? Yeah. If someone taught me how to do it, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it starts with something as simple as that, because it stops, if you want to look at it from, again, a hypnosis angle about deeper and deeper, the whole pre-talk element. If you're starting things by saying, I can't do it.
I thought you put me out there deeper and deeper as a way.
I'd only said it twice, though. I'd not got to the third one.
That's why I didn't completely go.
But if you're starting any task by saying, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this, oh God, this is going to be depressing, or oh God, if you're starting something by saying that, where are you going to go from there?
Yeah. I've been asking people, like, what did they miss? So they're saying, oh, lockdown's been fucking terrible. So instead of just going, why has it been terrible? And then they tell me all the shit reasons. What did you miss? And they'll say, oh, I missed just going out. So they miss going out, they miss their family, they miss going to work, whatever it is that they miss. And you go, well, that's what you should do more of whenever this opens up. I remember, I don't know where I've seen it, but I've seen it somewhere. Someone was talking about their parents. And so say, for example, you think your parents are going to live for another 10 years. And how often do you see your parents? And the guy was like, oh, I see them maybe once or twice a year. And he's like, so you would feel like you've got 10 years left with your parents? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, you only really have a maximum. If they're going to live 10 years and you see them twice, you've 20 times with your parent. Does that not change your perspective? And the same as like, oh, that's like you're closed down with your family and your friends and you can interact as much. Like we could interact every day and piss and moan about how shit and fucked up everything is. Or I could ask you to tell me something in French just because how the fuck do you say this in French? Because the first thing I did whenever like I went to England and I meet people from different parts of the world, how do you say hello, I am great in your language? And they tell me, I'm like, fucking yes. Yeah. So that's what I've been asking people, like, what is it that you miss? And do more of that. And if you do, if you started to do more of it through this, like through the medium of video calls, and then whenever real life happens, do more of that then. And if you do hate your job, then fucking do something like do something about it. Like I had like before I got into this, I had like 47 jobs. I hated all of them. So why did I have 47 jobs? Because I fucking hated them, but I needed money. So when I had enough money, I just quit. I go and train and I do whatever I need to do. And then I'm like, right, I need money again. I'd be like, here, can I have a job there? I'm really good at jobs. So and they'd be like, have you got any experience? And a lot of the time I would just say, not a lot, no. Because I didn't want them to ask me for reference, because most of the references were, that's all the money I need. Here I work, good luck. I'm handing keys to people. Here, I'll not be in tomorrow. You may find someone else, good luck. So find out what it is that you missed, what it is that you really enjoyed about this. If you are enjoying Netflix, are you enjoying Netflix? Or are you just hiding from your life with Netflix? You like the amount of time you spend on Netflix, you could learn a language, you could learn fucking chess, everything that you did. Like there's so much that could go on to do it. So that was my take on it. Like, what did you learn from? What did you learn about yourself from it? And then how do you make yourself better from that, so that if you are in another lockdown for 78 years, you're still quite happy doing, like, again, like this is like, your neighborhood isn't my neighborhood, but like it's like we're in the same room.
Exactly.
And we can't smoke each other's beer. Aside from that.
No.
I'd have to go over that. I get confusing.
Not. That's like reaching through a portal.
Hey,
number five.
Have you any words from Sherlock of like astounding, inspirational, like to end the podcast? Is he up there?
Yeah, it's that's where I store all of my knowledge. You see, it's like one of those teeter-totter things. I have to tip it back. There's a little mouse that runs back and he clicks it on.
I thought it was Maddie with a whiteboard writing stuff.
Say this.
Just say this. 10 out of 10.
No, she's pretty much over in the corner, just looking at us both disapprovingly, going, "What are you doing?"
Well, she can't see me, so she's missing out on this. You could have had all of this.
You could have had all of this.
And poignant.
So I wouldn't say it's necessarily inspirational. More, it would encourage a moment of reflection, and that emotional qualities are antagonistic to clear reasoning. If you're sitting back and thinking that something is fucking awful, are you examining that through crystal clear eyes? I would argue that you're not.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is. Like, once you start to examine your situation without these biases that you're bringing forward from whatever mood that you're currently in, a large proportion of the time you'll realize it doesn't suck as much as what Death to 2020 on Netflix would have you believe.
I haven't watched it. It's not.
It's a great comedy film. Great comedy film.
It's the wrong year now. It's too late. I've missed it. Can't go back. Can't go back. Forward, always forward. Laser focus.
Always forward.
Ben, thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving your time and for this unorthodox podcast that we decided to do. For everyone who's looking, Ben, we can find you in all the usual places. I will send links, connect everything up. And you're as approachable as I am, so people can reach out to you and be like, "Oh, how do I be a deductionist?" You'll be like, "Je m'appelle de la deduction," or whatever language you happen to.
Whatever I'm speaking that day.
Yeah. Cool. So thank you very much, and I will speak to you again soon.
Bye, mate.
Good idea. No need to clap because I'm just using the thing.
That's it. He's already got the clap.
The podcast limber up. Oh, you're going out a shot. Like a dolphin. Anywho.
This is actually recording. Yeah, you have to say that bit.
I won't need to send it. It will be in the podcast.